It's May 10th, and I'm titling this video, If You Like Mysteries, You'll Like Beekeeping. I've got about 50 colonies, a little less now, and I've only got 3 of these queen excluders. I've never really needed to buy any more, but for some reason this year, I've got quite a few queens that want to go up into the medium, and I've downsized this one because if you've checked out my other videos, a farmer planted a couple weeks ago, and I saw him spraying the same time he was planting. Within a few days after that, I started noticing sick bees. Because of how I have my apiary set up, I can walk through here and I can see the bees. I see occasionally a sick bee on the concrete that's not right. It's been sick from the toxic chemicals. So my colonies are small. I've lost, probably 10% of my colony strength. And the ones with straps on them are the ones I'm still bringing in. If you can keep them warm, keep that brood warm, there's a chance you can bring them back. The commercial beekeepers, they don't bring bees to my area until mid-June. And I know the reason for that. By mid-June, all the farmers are done spraying their poisons. They spray neonicotinoids to kill all the pests in the soil that would make a seed rot and feed on a seed or a growing plant. Because they have so many acres, there's only so many farmers, and they're planting thousands of acres. They do it too early, and it's too cool for the seed to grow properly. So that's the reason why they're spraying chemicals, and people are getting cancer from this. So anyway, the colonies with a strap on it, I've been on a weekly basis, I go through and I put a queen excluder in, get that queen to lay down below the medium. And once she starts laying, I can go back a week later and I can remove that queen excluder. I put a queen excluder on this one here. This is a 2018 queen. And the reason I want her down in the deep is because I would prefer to use a deep frame rather than using a medium frame for my nucs. That way, you don't have to make sure you have a deep frame on either side of that medium frame. It just makes it a little easier. But I can use a medium frame in my nucs if I have to. But I just have to make sure they're in between deep frames. So I have already checked this colony a few minutes ago. And I had checked them a few days ago, and I didn't find the queen. So I was going to use this one as my first mating nuke. So I was looking in here. It's like 3 days since I couldn't find the queen. I was looking for a queen cell, and I didn't find a queen cell. I'm not going to open them up all the way and take out frames, but I'll show you, if you haven't seen my videos, I don't mess with mating nuke boxes. There's no reason why you need a mating nuke box. I stick in my insulated fillers and make it a 5-frame nuke. Well, nuke, all of my nukes are 5-frame, and if I need to make it a 7-frame, I can take one of these out and add 2 more frames. And before they start building improperly on those frames, I can take out the other one and add 3 more. See, now they're not happy because I've already been in here. And I found a queen, but she doesn't look like the same queen. Now, I could go around, I could take pictures of all my queens, or I see they have stickers you can put on your queens, but if the sticker falls off, you wouldn't know. Or I could go around, I could take a picture of every queen. So the mystery is, I happen to have a video on YouTube with this queen in the video. I can go back and check the video, see if she looks like the same queen. But the mystery is, at the time I had a deep and a medium. Did that queen, I made sure the queen was down in the deep. And I gave them a frame that she had been laying on, so there was brood in the deep. And I stuck in the queen excluder, knowing the queen was down below. 3 days later, I checked. And the bees had left that brood. They weren't on the brood down below the queen excluder. They were all up in the medium again, like they were originally. Now, did that queen, she was a smaller queen. Did she somehow, but she's not small now. That's why I got to check the picture. Did she somehow get through that queen excluder? Did she come out, walk around, and go back into the medium? Did she come out and fly out and go back into the medium? That's just it. I don't know. So that's why if you love mysteries, you'll love beekeeping. I don't have the time to check every colony every single day. And I'm finding less time right now. My wife had just had a double mastectomy 2 days ago. And I realized my clover the grass was getting out of control, and I disked it. And I got to get in here and I got to remove all this grass seed. These are the areas that I worked on the year previously. I disked it over and over again. If you look all the way back there's Dutch white clover, and then it's back on the other side of trees. I disked it and disked it and disked it for over a year and got rid of most of the weeds. And this area here was like that before, but the weeds get out of control if you can't have the time. You can't find the time to get the weeds out. See, that's grass there. So it's a lot of work if you're trying to maintain Dutch white clovers. Dutch white clover's not aggressive as weeds are, and I'm doing the same thing out here. The stupid thing is, I did something really stupid. I went ahead and I planted the last bit of my Dutch white clover seed in March, and it seemed to be doing all right, but it's been really cool and dry since mid-March. Basically 6 weeks we've had cool weather and hardly any rain, and the weeds had taken over. And I went ahead and I disked this all the way up to the grapes. But on the other side there, I left it. So I'm hoping I have time to go out there and pull the weeds. That's my asparagus. And then I have an area where there's nothing, Dutch white clover. And then I have blueberries. And this right here is a patch I put in last year. It's a lot of work. If I could find something better to use, I would. But I didn't want to have grass. I wanted something the bees could take advantage of. And as you can see, there's no activity going on because it's cold. It's supposed to warm up in 5 days and be more like summer. And then I'll start doing my splits. I'll do a few at a time. And the reason I don't graft anymore, and the reason that I try to keep all my queens from previous years, I don't kill them. I want to have a diversity. I noticed buying Foley's Russian bees, his queens were very slow at laying. And if you go to Bee Source, there's an article on there about line-bred bees like Russian bees or any of the others, Minnesota Hygienics, because they want certain traits. They weed out the ones that don't qualify for being mite resistant, and you end up getting an inbred bee, and the queens don't lay very well. And the hybrids are better. And then they say a year after the hybrids, whatever you get from the hybrids aren't as good. But I'm not finding that because I'm breeding my bees with one of the biggest commercial beekeepers in Michigan. He's got over 3,000 hives, and I'm assuming he has the money to buy top quality queens. And that's what I'm getting from breeding with his drones. I'm getting top quality queens, the majority of them. I still get a few. They're more like Foley's Russian bees. But I'm hoping I can keep breeding them and get the Foley out of them. Like this one right here. She's a 2018 queen. She was. I don't know if she's the same queen. I got to check. But I wanted to at least get 2 mating nukes off of her. And I won't kill her. I'll leave her here. And I'll keep doing mating nukes off her. I don't expect her to get through a 3rd winter. So I'm not wanting her to get a large colony and make a lot of honey. In my 2019 queens, I'm going to take off a little mating nuke off each one of them. And then I'm going to take them out to a different area where they can make honey. They got to make 2 mediums of honey to make the honey for the new colonies that I make this year, because you start a colony during the summer, they don't make enough honey to get through winter. That's why every time anybody asks me, are you selling honey? I say no. I've got to wait until I have the certain number of colonies that I have that can make honey for my new colonies and also make excess honey to sell. So I'm not making money right now, but I'm not losing a lot of money because, like I said in my other videos, I build about everything here. I did buy some from Better Bee a few years ago before they raised the price, just to make sure I had enough to stay ahead of them. But lately I build all my frames, and I'm not spending a lot of money. I spend most of my money on cane sugar during the summer. As soon as I get a laying queen and a mating nuke, I'm going to give them syrup. And then I really put the syrup to them around September. And that's the other thing. Don't use Formic Pro formic acid. It does not kill the varroa mites. I used it in 2018. It killed the varroa mites. I couldn't find any, so I went ahead in 2019 assuming that it would work. I didn't check like I should have. And then I found out a month after I was done with treatment that it didn't do a damn thing to the varroa mites, and I lost most of my winter bees. That's why I've had losses. I've had more losses during the spring than I had during the winter because they gradually lose their size of the population. And because it's been so cold after mid-March, it's really hard. I've been carrying them in and out. See, the strap on it means I carry it in and out. I try to keep at it as much as I can. And then I had a few abscondings from, I'm assuming, the residue from the acylic acid in little colonies. Apparently they don't like that. So I've had 4 abscondings this month, and which is really kind of a sad loss, because I could use those small colonies. I could put frames in from the larger colonies and get them up to where I want them to be. And I don't need to split all of them right away. I could have split some of them in mid-June or later. So anyway, that's what I'm doing right now. Thank you.